What is up, YouTube? We're back with another YouTube video, and hopefully, as you all know, the 2022 college basketball season is officially over. And what that means is that I am going to be giving my 2022 NBA mock draft. Now, I just want to say quickly before we start that in this video, I'm not going to be predicting who I think each team will take. Instead, I'm going to be pretending that I'm the general manager of each team, and I'm just going to be selecting players based off of who I think I would take if I was picking for the team. So we're going to start off with the Orlando Magic. And in my opinion, out of the top three, it's very hard to choose who is the best player. But in my opinion, I think as of right now, I would go with Paolo Banchero. He was so fantastically good in March Madness. Holmgren and Smith struggled slightly, and they had earlier exits than people anticipated. So for those reasons, I would go with Banchero. Next, with the Rockets, with the second pick, I think Smith is the better pick over Holmgren. I'm not a big fan of Holmgren. I think he's a little too skinny. I think he's gonna get bodied up by some stronger players like Embiid and Jokic. I think Smith's a better player. Although I don't love Holmgren, I still think he is a fantastic talent, and it's not that hard to gain weight. We've seen many players gain weight over short periods of time. For example, Giannis. So I think Holmgren is definitely a top 3 pick, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes number 1. Next, a lot of people probably think Jaden Ivey is the clear pick, and he is the best player available. But the Thunder are a team that are already set on their guards for the future. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey are great. They also drafted Trey Mann last year, and they have Lou Dort. So picking another guard would be a waste of a pick, even though Ivey is the best available player. I think Keegan Murray fits too well. They have horrible big men. Really anything but point guard and shooting guard. They lack heavily. So I think Keegan Murray is a great fit for them here. Next, we have the Pacers with the 5th pick. This is an easy pick. If Ivey's still available at 5, you have to take him. So I think they go with Ivey. Next, we have the Blazers. This is a team that I think would love to take in Shaedon Sharpe. He's a great wing player. This is a great player to have on your team. Next, we have the Kings. They really struggle in terms of small forward depth and wing depth overall. So AJ Griffin is a great player for them to take here. He's very, very high upside. I think this is a great pick for them here. Next, at 8, we have the Pelicans. I think they would love a guy like Johnny Davis. He could come in off the bench and practically do everything at an elite level for them. They don't have much of a good bench in terms of scoring, so Johnny Davis would be a great player for them to acquire in the draft. Next, we have the Spurs with the 9th pick. I think they can't pass up Jalen Duran's talent. Yes, they have Jakob Poeltl, who's been one of the best defensive centers in the league, but he is not guaranteed to come back. And Duran has much higher potential than Poeltl does. Next, with the 10th pick, we have the Washington Wizards. This is a team that desperately could use a point guard. I think the easy pick here is to go with Dyson Daniels. Yes, I think Ty Washington is a great point guard. I think Daniels is just slightly better. He's a fantastic defender, and that's something the Wizards would love to have, is a really good defensive point guard. Next, we have the Blazers again. They already took Shaedon Sharpe, so I don't think they would look for another wing. So I think they wouldn't look at Mathurin or Obaji. I think they would look at a guy like Tari Eason, who can defend practically any position. He can score the ball offensively. I think this is a great pick for them here. Next, we have my New York Knicks. I think if I were the Knicks, I would be deciding between 2 players, and that's Bennett Mathurin and Jeremy Sochan. I think I would lean towards Sochan because I'm fairly confident Randall will be getting traded this offseason. Not so confident that Mitchell Robinson will be coming back this year. So for those reasons, I think they have to take Jeremy Sochan. Next, we have the Houston Rockets with the 13th pick. They already took Jabari Smith with the 2nd pick. I think Mathurin is the clear pick. I think he's the best player available right now. He's insanely great offensively. Yes, his defense is a little lackluster, but that's something he can improve on because he's so athletic and so lengthy. I think he could easily become a better defender. Next, we have the Hornets. I think Abaji would be a great pick for them. He's a little bit more experienced than some of these other guys, being one of the few seniors, top seniors in this draft. I think they would love a guy who could come and have a big impact right away and doesn't need much work. So I think Agbaji would be a great pick for the Hornets. Next, we had the Thunder again. I already had them taking Keegan Murray. I think they go with another forward here, and that forward is Kendall Brown. Kendall Brown is another player in this draft class, like Tari Eason, who can defend practically every position at elite level. I think that's something that the Thunder would love to have. Next, we have the Hawks with the 16th pick. I think they should go with Nikola Jovic. Yes, a lot of people probably think that Ty Washington is the best player available, and I agree with you, he is. But having Trae Young, having Sharif Cooper, I think that Jovic just fits their lineup better. The 17th pick, the Pacers are up. I had them taking Jaden Ivey, and for those given all the guards they would now have with Buddy Hield, Malcolm Brogdon, T.J. McConnell, Jaden Ivey, and Tyrese Halliburton, I think that they would avoid Ty Washington and go with a forward like Ousmane Dieng. I think he is a big, small forward. He could play power forward for sure. I think that's a position that the Pacers kind of don't have a lot of depth in, the forward spot. Next, we have the Timberwolves. I think this is where Ty Washington gets drafted. This is definitely a little lower than I think his value is. But they would love a backup point guard. Beverly is not really a good backup point guard. He doesn't facilitate the ball well. Ty Washington would be the second best facilitator on this team, and they would love to have him. Next, we have the Bulls. This is a team that could desperately use some big man depth. They're a very small team, so I think they would go with EJ Liddell. He is a fantastic floor spacer. He's a big dude. He can defend very well. He could defend centers. He could defend forwards. So I think this is a great pick for the Bulls. Next, we have the Spurs again. I had them taking Jalen Duran, so I don't think they would go for a big man like Mark Williams, but any chance. I think they take EJ Liddell's teammate, also from Ohio State, Malachi Branham. I think he has great athleticism, and he'd be a great fit for the Spurs. Next, we have the Grizzlies. I think they would look they have so much depth that I think they would look to a player that has a lot of bust potential, but also has a very high chance at working out really well for the team. I think that guy is Jaden Hardy. I think Jaden Hardy has a very high chance of being a big bust and being out of the NBA in a few years. But I also think Jaden Hardy has the potential to be a star in the league. 22, we have the Denver Nuggets. This is another team that has a lot of depth. I think they would look to a guy like Blake Wesley, who could be a high motor for them off the bench. He's pretty damn good defensively. I think they would love to have a guy who could come off the bench and kind of motivate the rest of his teammates. I think Blake Wesley is that guy, so I think they take Blake Wesley. Next, we have the Bucks. This is a team that could use a backup point guard. I think Kennedy Chandler would be a great pick for them. I think they would love to have him. Another guy I think they could look at is Mark Williams. I think he would probably flip a coin between these two guys. But in the end, I think Kenny Chandler would be a great pick for them. Next, we have the Nets. I think the Nets would jump all over Mark Williams. They are a very, very small team. They don't have a lot of great centers. He is a very, very big guy. That's something they would love to have, is a big, big guy. So they'll love Mark Williams. Next, we have the Mavericks, and this might be a shocking pick, but I think they should go with Christian Koloko. I think Christian Koloko is one of the best defenders in the draft, if not the best defender in the draft. Mavericks lack big man depth heavily after trading Porzingis. Their big man defense are horrible. So I think Koloko would be a great pick for the Mavericks. Next, we have the Spurs again. This is their third first-round pick. I already had them taking Duran and Branham. So I think here they would go for another wing in Beauchamp. He's a lengthy wing. He can guard 1 through 3, maybe even 1 through 4. He's a good offensive player. I think it's a good pick for the Spurs. Next, we have the Warriors. Warriors are, again, another team that has incredible depth. But if they have to pick, if they don't trade their pick, I think Walker Kessler would be a great pick for them. One thing they lack in is size. Kevon Looney is their center right now. He's about 6'8", 6'9". Getting a 7-footer like Walker Kessler would definitely improve their size. Next, we have the Heat. I think the Heat would and again, another team. I keep saying this a lot. I know this is another team that has a lot of depth. I think their wings haven't played up to what a lot of people expected. There's a lot of question marks around their wing position. There's also a lot of question marks around their power forward position. So in this scenario, I think they go with Patrick Baldwin. Next, we have the Grizzlies. This is a team this is their second first-round pick. Again, this is not a team that needs 2 first-round picks. I definitely think they'll trade at least one of them, if not both. But if they happen not to trade this pick, I think they would love to bring in a guy like Bryce McGowens. He's athletic. He's lengthy. He's a good shooter. I think this is a good pick. Next, we have the Thunder. This is also their third first-round pick. They're replacing the Suns in this scenario because they have the Suns pick. We already have them taking 2 forwards, so I don't think they'll take another forward like Trevor Keels or David Roddy. But I do think they could really use a center, as they probably have the worst centers in the entire league. There's a lot of solid centers available right now, like Camgate and Nizosa. But really, I think they should go with Oscar Tshiebwe. He is the best rebounder of the class. That's something they would love to have, is a good rebounder. Yes, he's a little bit undersized, standing at 6'9", but he could hit mid-range shots. He could post up. He's a great player, and I think the Thunder this would be a great pick for the Thunder. So that's my full first round 2021 mock draft. If you have any arguments, if you think anybody else should be in different spots, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll definitely reply and give more in-depth reasons onto why I have these players where they are. Obviously, in this video, there wasn't too much reasoning behind each spot because I can't fit 30s, can't make this video too long. But if you have any arguments against where I have players going, feel free to leave a comment. And thank you so much for listening, and hopefully you're here for the next video.